if you use it too much, when the rainy day comes, what would you do? To them, that's how they see money. Right? So if you find yourself as a driver and your partner as an analytic, the analytic is going to check you. Whilst you see money as success, they see money as a means of protection. And that money should go out as often as it is. In any case, money must come on the basis of planning. You just can't come up and say that we should go and spend the money. No. They are well structured financially and they are good long-term money planners. Are you with me? So it's obvious that if they plan, they create a budget, they prioritize, they tell you those that are the needs and those that are wants, they are able to distinguish between those that they want and those that they need. Such a person would focus clearly on the needs and say that until we clear the needs, we are not going to the wants. Such a person can help us plan for a very long time. So if you get that balance, it is good. How do they communicate love? Analytics communicate love by saving money. And so also domestica yen na o maye ni na dey na kire odo o fi ta maye ye sika nyina we dey ato we dey sie. No, that is how they communicate love. They communicate love by saving money. Only na mkrampa they are frugal. Oh darling, sweetie, I didn't cry and talk. Na go we say sika we kure bit me dey akwa to ho mama ya wadi aye be wari bit me dey after. It's opposite the spender. Only need pay gross we talk. And I say we cried cheap. I say we cried and we just say was which there was. No, the analytic is not like that. Right? It's not like that. Keep the money, honey. You know there is more to it. The future lies ahead of us. We must plan towards that. We never know what would happen when our children will be sick, when one of us will be, ill. We have no idea when we may lose our house or our car. You know, you don't need this new shirt or this new shoe. I don't need it. You know, use it and let us put the money aside. And they are long term. They are in for the long term. The analytics. Are you with me? Advert view because sikana what they call koto drone. Bako this is sikana de koto ataramu. Bakoto drone na no. You know Ghanaians and aphrodisiac. So such a person is looking out for the future well-being of the family or of the marriage. He's not out there to say that I want it now, gratification now, give it to me now. No, he's not your typical driver. This is a typical person who thinks through, puts the budgets together, tells you what he needs or what we need and what we don't need. Those that are wants that later on we can look out for. Let us think and protect ourselves over the long run. Let us build a house, save towards building a house. Let us save towards buying a car. We don't need the 3 cars in the house. Why? When only we can use 1 car and manage well and save money for retirement. How many couples will think about retirement? Thinking that retirement is just about 20, 30 years, 40 years away. When I started work, I never knew I was getting closer until I visited Smith. And I saw that I have only 16 years to go on retirement. 16 years. But when I was registering, I was in Legon and registering at the time. I was 21, 22 years. And I'm registered around 95 or 94. And I'm picking my Smith card. Then I started working somewhere 2004. Then I joined, and then by the time I realized, I went there and I checked my ID and I say that the man is 44 years. You have 16 years to go on retirement. You are joking that 16 years is far. 16 years is just here around the corner. By the time you realize you have only 4 years going on retirement. And if you are not an analytic or you don't have an analytic as your spouse and put the brakes on you, by the time you realize you don't have a house living in, by the time you realize you are not able to take care of your children, by the time you realize you are probably begging, Most people who are begging on the road did not plan that they will beg. They never planned it like that way. But because of some of these things, these poor planning, between couples, especially in marriage, you may find yourself getting there. So plan together. Plan your retirement together. It's important. The two of you plan your retirement together. And don't be afraid because one is an analytic and checking you. Don't be afraid. Initially, you will fight because the man or the woman says that, no, let's save for the future. You don't understand why. You are the now, gratification now. There was a couple like that a movie like that I watched. And in the movie, this was a young couple. The man had a new job, an oil and gas job, and he was being paid well. And so they were then moving from their old state to their new state. They hired a new apartment. Then the wife started joining other friends from clique, social class, yes. Then they started pumping some different ideas into her head. They said, why? Your husband works in an oil and gas company. And why can't you guys, buy this clothes? Why don't you ask him to spend that much on you? So this lady started, even the shop that the man had opened for her, put a little bit of goods. She would not, stay to look after the shop. He had gone to hire somebody who is taking care of the shop. And she would go and that group over and over, be talking about what will be the next move. Apparently, they were jealous of her. She did not know. These were people who had married and their husbands were mistreating them or maltreating them. Others had husbands that were fraudsters. And because she had a husband that was taking care of her, they wanted to come in there and destroy the marriage. The woman went in there demanding these things from the husband. And the husband would say, honey, this is not like you. We started this whole thing. I got this new job. Money started coming in. We don't have a house of our own. We are renting an apartment. The only thing we can boast of is our car. And even the car, you cannot say that the car is a property because anything can happen to the car the next day. So we should be thinking about saving and using that resource to build a house. The man was talking about the well-being of the family. The wife was talking about now gratification. Yes, independence now. Gratification. Then the colleagues would come in and advise. They eventually found a man for the woman, a married woman. They made it look as if it was something that was not planned, but it was planned. They planted a man in her life. The man had one objective, to attract the woman by beginning to provide certain things that the husband, which she had requested that the husband presumably is not able to provide. And they were pumping those ideas into the head of the girl. The girl would go and now became very arrogant. Would go out and would not come and sleep in the house. And the husband became very worried that you are married. What else do you want? That a married woman, you will not come and stay in your home when it's evening. When you close from work, you won't come. This dragged on for a very long time until the truth came out. Apparently the man was in their job, that is their oil and gas job. They had a client, an Alhaji. Apparently the Alhaji was married to one of the ladies who was advising, his wife. So the Alhaji requested that they join him in the house for dinner. And that when he's coming, he should bring the wife. So the wife took the wife there, and then when they went there, it was this same woman who was advising her that she's allowed the husband to keep all the money and whatnot. When they went, the Alhaji was apparently maltreating that very woman. would send her away to the kitchen and go and bring the food because they had. But this was the same woman who was saying that never take that, nonsense from a man. Your husband is saying that you should wait for what? When you have the money, you should begin to spend the money. What is your husband? Apparently, her marriage was actually in tatters. So it was there that these revelations came up. Then the elderly woman who was also advising had the husband arrested by EFCC. They bust those who have fraudsters. It was a drug dealer that he busted. And here she stood, seeing that the husband was the only tall man standing, a genuine husband who had the future well-being of the family. And that all that he was trying to do was to put the money aside, save the money, and use the money to take care of them. So this is a typical analytic against the one who would jump onto the bandwagon, who is a typical, driver, who to him success is about money. Are you with me? So the communication must go, because the way they love looks different. They love you, but the love they love you is to protect you. But you think that the love they love you is actually taken from you. Right? So analytics are like that. Their weakness is that they tend to be unyielding and legalistic with budgets and money. It means that they don't compromise. When they draw the budget and you agree on the budget, you must comply. Stick to the budget. Right? You cannot come in and say that, let us add this, let us take this out. No. Let's stick to the plan. Let's work hard and make sure that we get it. They can unintentionally communicate a disregard for the feelings of others. Unintentionally. Because to them, they are doing the right thing. To you, they are punishing you. But it's unintentional, not planned. Right? Feelings of others because of a conservative financial act. They will not let the money go like that. We don't need the car now, honey. We don't need the house, the apartment now. Why do we go and rent an apartment where they are charging 1,500 cedis a month, and in Ghana they don't take per month, they take a minimum of 2 years, and if you calculate 1,500 times 12, you can imagine, multiply by 2, you can imagine, in some cases by 3 years, you can imagine. And doling out such money, close to 40,000, 60,000, 70,000. Do you know what you can do with 70,000 Ghana? If you acquire a small plot of land somewhere and you can build. And that is for the long term, compared to the one who says that, honey, now that you are working, we have the money, let's go and get an apartment, that apartment over there, because it's status, isn't it? It's a status symbol. So that my friends will know that now we are there. You don't reach. Why don't you take the car loan, $100,000, let's get a cruiser and let's cruise. You are cruising on debt. You are cruising on debt. You are only satisfying an immediate gratification, which is for now. However, you are going to pay for it. So that it has a direct impact. Imagine you are paying such a loan for 5, 10, 15 years. There's a direct impact on your financial. So when even you are taking loans, be careful. Look at its impact on your life and your lifestyle and your family. It's very important. If you can avoid it, avoid it. Save a lot of money, do it gradually. It takes about 4 or 5 years if you are serious. It takes about 5 years if you are serious to build a house. If you are serious, right? Little by little. Once you have the land, do something that you can put your head, where you can put your head. The mansion is the main house. Put it later on when you are here and you are no more paying the bills. That is where you are going to build that kind of the dream house that you want to build. Are you with me? So it's very important. The amiable focuses on relationships. So relationships and people are the focus of the financial desires of the amiable. Money means love and affection. So to him, sharing whatever he or she has is important to maintaining a relationship. His affection and love for you is based on the ability to share what he or she has. So he is kind-hearted or she is kind-hearted. He's generous. He gives. Are you with me? So such a person, you must also understand how he speaks or how he communicates love. He communicates love by sharing what he or she has. Now, if you have an amiable person who is generous, you must have somebody who can check him. Because not only does he communicate love to you only, but he communicates love to others in the same manner because he's generous and kind-hearted. You say some people are home what? They say when they get outside, they give outside gentility, home cry, right? But this guy, he will do both home and then outside. But of course, it means that his language or the way he communicates about money is a little bit different, and you must also understand. So what his weakness, of course, is the giving aspect, his generosity. And so they are often poor managers and may lack long-term planning skills. It's obvious, isn't it? Because of their generosity, they can, once they get the money, let's give it out. When you are somehow by pastor, let me call you and see me for 200 euro. Pastor, she will do so. Pastor is amiable. Pastor, share your next one in the couple of tickets. Pastor, you can hear you. Let's say the man now. I with me. And you say, yes, this year, sorry. Did I be busy? Sorry. He's kind-hearted. He's generous. So if you don't take care, but of course, that is the calling. Okay, so he's kind-hearted, he's generous. Some may even go to the extent of borrowing to share. For instances like that. And it's difficult for such a person to manage money in the long term. It's better for the analytic to do that. Then there is the expressive. How do they communicate their love when it comes to money? And the name. The expressive see money on the basis of acceptance. Okay? Once you accept him, recognize him, or recognize her. To him, accepting somebody is based on money. So recognition and acceptance is only expressed on the basis of money. Okay? So to the expressive, money is acceptance. To have money is to be accepted. To have money is to be recognized. Isn't it? If I don't have money, then it means that I lack recognition. I lack acceptance. And we have groups like that. If you don't have money, they don't accept you. It's only when you have, okay, you have gotten there, now you can join us. Such a person expresses love on the basis of money. If you have money, you are loved. If you don't have the money, forget about it. And that is the basis of their relationship. And how they desire people, how they get people closer to them. Right? And we have quite a lot of examples, isn't it? Where people, if you do not provide, there are some people, if you don't provide for them, they don't accept you. But as you can see, everybody wants affection. If you go to Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one of the things that every human being, beyond your biological needs, is to be loved. And so you want to be loved. So once you want to be loved, they say you want to be loved, then you must demonstrate that, express that by through money. If you have the money, we love you. If you don't have the money, forget it. Right? And there are many groups like that. Many groups like that. They communicate love by shopping, by buying, and spending to gain acceptance from their group. Look at them. Because they want to be accepted, they can only express that by spending, by buying things that can only help them to be accepted by the group. Are you getting those people? Yes. And that is how they express love. They communicate love. And if that is how they communicate love in a relationship, then it is dangerous. So if you are a wife and you don't have money, it means that your husband doesn't see you as communicating love. You are accepted on the basis of how much money you are bringing in. Vice versa. If you are the man and you are not bringing in money, you are not loved in the house, in the home. It's only when you bring in money that you are accepted and loved as part of us. That is problematic. If that is the situation, then that relationship will suffer when there is no money, when you cannot buy for them, when you cannot spend on them, when you cannot give them what they demand. Because to them, to express love is to give them money, is to show money. To accept you is to give money. Otherwise, and there are many relationships like that. They love the men because the men provide for them. They accept you because you are providing for them. So that the love vanishes when the money is not forthcoming. So Ozoko will say, when the money is finished, the romance is also finished. When the money is finished, the romance is also finished. This language can be used in a negative way to hide feelings of pain, insecurity. Yes, some of these things could be a basis of hiding pain, hiding their insecurities. It's insecurity because they are not loved. If they are not loved, then they must do what you can do for you to love them. So they are going through a lot of pain because people don't accept them. That is what it is. Yes. I mean, if I was from school, one could pick a idea, as I do, we have a possible. I don't know why this kind of buy, and I was, oh, sweet heart, honey. The same person, no. A while ago, when you use cap and on any mood as a son. Weakness, express weakness. They can become overly dependent on money to solve problems and calm their fears. Yes. Because the only way they are accepted is to show up money. And so they constantly will have to go after money. And that is the only way they can prevent their fears from some of the bad things from happening to them. Because take it or leave it. The word love is an important word. When you are rejected, it has more psychological implications, very damaging implications. Right? And remember, I'm going to be here. Nikoye bouncing me. Abaya Nikoye bouncing me. Mako was bouncing me. Mako was bouncing me. Now was on now food. No more show. No more so. I bounced 3 times. When to me can someone to mami etim kakra. Right. Now, once you understand the language, how people communicate love, it is the foundation upon which you can achieve financial intimacy. Because at the end of the day, so it is not like me and I also dear. How do we work together to ensure that we get there? So the way to achieve financial intimacy are some of the things that I have enumerated or I'm going to talk about. And one is the question of dealing with how we communicate, how do you call it? Love on the basis of money. You need to understand that they are drivers. You need to understand that they are analytics. You need to understand that they are, amiable. You need to understand that they are expressive. In addition, you must also know the other personality types, the compulsive buyers, the compulsive savers, the compulsive money makers, the investors. Are you with me? The spenders, the big spenders. You must understand all these things so that you are able to deal with what is before you. If there is clarity on this, then it helps.
A little contribution.
Okay.
I think so. One thing I'm personally trying to be expressive, no.
Yeah.
to them see money as acceptance no sometimes or worry na ono mu no ntimi contribute so a ebe no problem to be okoyo oba maybe in the marriage who say baby nti ba we home wife ontimi nya adwuma na dream no ontimi contributing it no na say wo kra wo no matter how we show love no ono na dream say me ntimi contributing there odoni ho so ebe headache am on the other side so fast ono ntimi contribute no.
So there is the negative side of it, which is true. Now, all this is me accepting. Now, when you basically maybe more, or feel bad, isn't it? So, no, can a very true, and pastor can a very true, and I agree with you. Yeah, very serious. These are the psychological things going on without your knowledge. So the planning would not work. You call him or her to the table, it is not going to work until you get clarity. Number 2, deal with control or dominance. This is where you must be sure of who is in charge. The fact that you are bringing more is not a situation where you must say that I must control the resource. So dominance can also create friction and quarrels. Mina what if you have mina bisikano eba mina ese me control mina me kasa ese beb mina sikano kra mina ese me hweso enso so sikano ese hu se sikano se abeye enye wo anaze me abeye yen esika na sika yen esika de e de na afi de ntokwa ba ho so and it is important that we declare that this is our money. And it is not because you are bringing more that you should control whatever is happening. The essence is that we would want to plan well so that all of us will benefit from what we have planned. And therefore, control and dominance should not come from the one contributing more or the one who thinks that is the analytic and can control the purse. No, otherwise, you will let the other person feel very, very bad. To address the question of dominance in the relationship when it comes to financial intimacy. Then 3, talk openly about your financial problem. So communicate. Where there are differences, try and resolve those differences. But if you keep quiet and I also keep quiet, it's assumed that everything is as good as usual, before. And that can create a lot of issues. Right? So, monies have been taken from the fund. What did you use the money for? We are not fighting, but why did you take the money? On what basis did you take the money? And what did you use the money for? If there is no agreement, that could create a problem. There is a situation where a lady that I know with the husband is a banker, and the lady works with DVLE. Let me put it that way. Now they have been married for some time, and they were planning to put up a house, so they bought the plot for the land, and they had agreed that they would work on the land, but at the point the lady, because of trust, had given the resources to the gentleman, so that when it comes to going to site to look after the house and build the house, she gave everything to the husband to control, to do that. Now, this husband, who was a banker, also saw that the lady, and in fact, convinced the lady to also open an account with his bank. And so, whatever monies were coming in, the man saw everything. Now, you know that it is criminal to take somebody's money without his permission, prior permission. Now, this guy was actually taking monies from the very bank account that was lodged with the bank that belonged to the wife, without the wife's knowledge. The wife got to know that her money has actually reduced to a certain point and wanted to confront the bank for the discrepancy. Only for the husband to come and confess that he is the one taking the money from the account of the bank. You know what that means? If the wife reported him to the bank, well, that's stealing. Right? The wife had given this control to the husband. However, the husband did not respect, that kind of control. And the husband apparently was taking monies from, I guess it's getting low battery or something like that. Was taking money from, the account. Then it got to a time the wife thought that they were building and was happy about it. And there was this neighbor, they bought the land with a neighbor who would also be going there anytime that the husband purportedly said he was going there. And the neighbor could not tell the lady that the husband was not doing anything on the land. Because what I like about it, the husband and the wife issue. If you say it and you don't say it well, you may have problems. When you remember, I'm not a third person. And the Nkansah Kwabena and I'll catch it. I was this week, Meko site, Nanka unya hua. Aya kame hone yanko. Meko na osi mami ka osi den sie de nkakran kakra o. Nkakran kakra de si dan. Meni mi kunu ye eden ye sinim disika no manu a. Ye kase on topolitan currency ho. Na ye cement ananu kra ye di. I will catch him say you do lentil level. Nkansah. You also more drive ye kakra kakra mu ko dura asase no so a. Asase a na dan a ni kunu no say we see o do lentil level. Asase no be mu to do foundation no. E wa na de ne da. He had not continued. He had not continued the building. And our papa nka say anka me de manu be kan ya. And keep the other say me or true for intimate share. Then I'm here kakra say. Ubebana wa babish. And now me ka say, Sawari and a good. We are finding separately. I go separately. So it is important that we address this issue and we look at it carefully. Where there are financial problems, discuss the financial problems. Discuss the financial problem. After all, any more problem. Any more problem. Any scan, you pay quite a bit. The crime many bit me a or you didn't know, and I say, Okunu no yere. You bit me a kind of boom, a bit in the face. And I see bit me a bit me. And discuss it openly. Don't hide it. If it's weighing you as a man, discuss it. Be open about it. Although, where they are saying they may bread, Nikomu, and you there, Obia, also boa. In fact, a man do a almost salary, more than if you more a husband. Esika. Judge be or say, on any year, son and year, edge 3 times what he was earning. And so, no be disclosing the salary. And no, bad, I want to. As a man, or provided until a situation happened. And then it came out that the wife was earning 3 times what he was earning. And I said, I go, yeah, where do you work? As a judge, so talking about the issues obviously will change the dynamic. And then the lady will see that after all, I now crowd 3,000 and I'm imaging 9,000. Either two, the woman did not know. When you say we are judge used to be maybe 2,000, 20,000, and 30,000. So what you say? If you discuss here, Ebwa. Teachers say, "You get to young." Into what? Yeah, who are the teacher? Who are the teacher? Not necessarily who a banker now. You must discuss your salary. Me, my name is my salary open. Into my wife, we need my hair, me. And the about critical, you didn't a son won't say a dear manasa. Right? You won't say yes. 4. More kasika some no more discussing more open communication now. A buama muhu your personality styles. Mu sika do abunya. I hear mo di be good kitty mu. I hear mo beche. I hear mo di be ye. I hear mo I hear mo di be see guy. And I hear mo di be ye. Na mo di be ye no. Now mu make sure says I never need no something that you. So you are creating a budget and you are prioritizing. Take note. A budget focuses on only value, things that both of you put great value on. So a budget will first look at your needs before you look at your wants. Don't mix them. Don't mix your wants with your needs and don't even know which one is your need and which one is your want. Your need is that which when you don't have, you can't survive. As for your want, if you don't have it, life can still go on. And so you must pay attention. Create a budget, prioritize what must come first and what must come last. Your needs should always be on top of the budget. And then your wants can come down. Now, if you are earning income, you can devise this rule. You can have what we call the 50-30-20 rule, where 50%, especially if you are a young couple, where you are putting 50% of your income on addressing your needs. Because you're a young couple, there's a lot that you will need. Then you spend 30% on your wants, right? So the 50-30-20 rule. And some of the things that you can, some of the things that you can spend your 50% on, or which is the need, is housing as a young couple, food, transportation, basic utilities like electricity, like water. These are things that you would need. And so you consider that. The 30 would go on your wants, like entertainment, like travel. You can't compare travel to food. Obviously, you take food over travel or entertainment. So these are your wants. Are you with me? Why subscribe to DSTV? DSTV is a want. It's not a need. Or GoTV is a want. It's not a need. If you don't have GoTV, you won't die. But if you don't provide food for your children, they will cry in the house. If your child is sick and you don't take him to the hospital, there will be chaos. But if you don't go out for meals, let's say you do meals every month. If you don't go out month, let's say July or August, you are not going to die. So that is a want. So in the scheme of things, your budget, you see that your priorities should focus on your needs. And then towards the end, you look at your wants, right? The 30% of your resources. Then the last 20% will go into your savings and debt. If you have any debt and you are paying, the 20% can go there. So the 50-30-20 rule simply says that when you earn income as a couple, put 50% into addressing your needs. Put 30% into addressing what your wants are. And the 20% should go into your savings and if you have any debt. Take note, as you move on the ladder, you will see that there may be changes, isn't it? At the point you have acquired land, a house. So the house is no longer a need on your list. So you free more money to your savings. So you can vary the ratio. So if we were now spending 50% as a need, because we have been able to deal with substantial amount of our need, we can move part of our needs to our savings. We don't have much debt. So now it goes into savings and retirement and investment. So even the ratio can still change. It may come a point in time where your needs may be 20%, and let's say your wants may be 30%, and then 70% may be your savings, and then the debt probably you might have cleared that. Are you with me? But as a young couple, a 50-30-20% rule would help you. At least you have something small behind you, and then you have something taking care of your needs, and you have something taking care of your wants. So this is an important rule that can help you. I wanted to show that in a simple chart. It's on. Okay. So